My name is Linda. I am 31 years old. I am married. My husband's name is Howard. He is 35 years old. We have a small son. Now, I am pregnant with my second baby. I feel tired all the time, but I also feel hope. My husband is a kind man. He is from another country, far from where I grew up. His home is in Europe. We lived in my country for many years after we got married. Life was simple at first, but slowly things became harder. Food became expensive. Rent became high. Every month we had to worry more. I could see the stress in Howard's eyes. He tried to hide it, but I could feel it. One night, we sat together in the kitchen. Our son was sleeping in the next room. Howard said, "Maybe we should move." I looked at him. My heart felt heavy. I said, "Move where?" Howard said, "To my country. Life is easier there. My family is there. We can have a better start." I felt sad. I did not know his country well. I did not know his family well. I only met them once at our wedding. They smiled a lot that day, but smiles can hide many things. I knew that. I said, "I don't know." Howard held my hand. He said, "We will be okay, Linda. I will be with you." I wanted to believe him. After many days of thinking, we made the decision. We packed our things. I said goodbye to my home, my friends, my old life. It was not easy. I cried many times. The flight felt long. My body felt heavy because of the baby inside me. When we arrived, Howard looked happy. He said, "This is home." We bought a nice house in his hometown. The next day, we visited Howard's family. My heart was beating fast. I held my son's hand. Howard said, "It's okay, Linda." The door opened. His mother stood there. She looked at me, then at my son. Then she smiled. She said, "Oh, come in, come in." Inside the house, everyone was talking loudly. They came close to us quickly. Someone said, "Oh, the baby." They touched my son's hair. They picked him up. They spoke in their language. I understood it very well, but I did not show it. I had learned it many years ago when I was young. I never told them. I never told anyone in his family. I don't know why. Maybe I was shy. Maybe I wanted to understand who they really were. So I stayed quiet. At first, everything seemed normal. We sat at the table. We ate together. They asked me questions in a language I pretended not to understand well. I answered slowly, carefully, but then I heard it. Small words, words they thought I could not understand. One voice said, "She looks different." Another voice said, "Yes, her hair." Someone said, "And her clothes." I kept eating. I kept my face calm, but inside something moved. I told myself maybe I heard wrong, maybe I misunderstood. We left the house that night. I felt tired. I said, "Your family is very lively." Howard laughed. He said, "Yes, they are like that." I said nothing more. In the next weeks, we visited them often. Slowly, I began to hear more comments. One voice said, "They don't match." Another said, "She dresses strange." Someone said, "Her makeup is too much." I sat there quietly. I smiled when they looked at me. I nodded when they spoke to me. But inside, I felt small. I felt hurt. One day, I heard something that made my heart drop. One voice said, "She is getting bigger." Another voice replied, She is too big. They were talking about my pregnant body. Tears filled my eyes. I wanted to leave, but I stayed. I said nothing. That night when we came home, I thought, did I make a mistake coming here? Days passed. Each morning felt the same. I woke up tired. I tried to smile for my son. I tried to be strong, but I could not forget them. I did not tell Howard everything at first. I did not want to create problems. I did not want him to feel stuck between me and his family. One evening, I was in the kitchen. I was cutting vegetables for dinner. I made a small mistake and cut my finger. I looked at the blood. I stared at it. Then I began to cry. Howard came into the kitchen quickly. He said, "Linda, what happened?" I said, "I can't do this. I can't." He looked confused. Howard said, "What do you mean?" I said, "They talk about me, your family. They talk about me." Howard shook his head. He said, "No, I don't think they do." I said, "They speak in your language. They think I don't understand, but I do. I understand everything." Howard looked surprised. He said, "You understand?" I said, "Yes, I always did. Your family say bad things about my hair, my clothes, my body." My hand moved to my belly. "About this?" Howard walked closer to me. His face looked serious now. Howard said, "Linda, why didn't you tell me?" I said, "I didn't want problems. I thought maybe it would stop. I thought maybe I was wrong." Howard said, "But you are not wrong?" I shook my head. I said, "No." Howard said, "I will talk to them. This is not okay. You are my wife. They should respect you." His words made me feel warm. The next visit to his family felt different. When the door opened, his mother smiled again. She said, "Welcome." We went inside. We sat at the table. Everyone spoke to me carefully this time, like they were choosing each word before saying it. His sister said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine." I listened carefully, but there was nothing. No bad words, no comments. It continued like this for weeks, then months. Every time we visited, they were polite. His mother said one day, "You look nice." I was surprised. I said, "Thank you." Time passed and my pregnancy became harder. My back hurt. I could not sleep well. Then one night, the pain started. Howard rushed me to the hospital. Everything felt fast. And then my baby girl was born. She was perfect. Howard said, "She's beautiful." I nodded. I said, "We will call her Emma." It was a special name in my family. Every woman in my family had this name as a first or middle name. My mother had it. My grandmother had it. Howard smiled and said, "Emma, it's beautiful." I felt happy, but that happiness did not last long. When his family heard the name, everything changed again. His sister said, "They chose that name." His mother said, "It sounds strange." Someone said, "It has a dark meaning." I said, "It is a family name. It is important to me." They did not smile. They did not agree. After that, I did not visit them for a while. I stayed home with my baby. I needed rest. One day, Howard came to me. He said, "My mother's birthday is coming. They want us to come." I looked at him, then I looked down. I said, "I don't know." He said, "It will be okay again, just a short visit." My mind was full of fear, but in the end, I said yes. The day of the birthday came faster than I wanted. When we were ready, Howard carried the baby bag. I carried Emma. My son walked next to me, holding my hand. When we arrived, Howard knocked. His mother opened the door. She said, "Welcome." We stepped inside. Many people were there, family, friends, people I did not know, and then everyone saw the baby. Someone shouted, "Oh, the baby!" They all came closer. They said, "Let me see. Can I hold her?" I froze. I held Emma tighter. I said, "No, it's okay. You can look, but no holding." One woman said, "Oh, just for a second." I said, "No, thank you." I looked at Howard. He gave me a nod. He understood. Then I heard it again. Howard's sister sat across the table. Next to her was his mother. They leaned closer to each other. I heard every word. The sister said, "Linda is too much." The mother replied, "Yes, always acting special." The sister said, "She doesn't let anyone hold the baby." The mother said, "So strange. She thinks she is better than us." I could not breathe. The sister said, "I don't like her. She is fat now and ugly, and her style is so cheap, like she doesn't care." I froze. The mother said, "She looks like a mess, like someone with no control." My heart broke. I could not believe what I just heard. They were still laughing. They did not know that I understood everything. But now I was done. I stood up. Everyone looked at me. I looked at Howard's sister, then at his mother, and I spoke. I said, "I understand everything you say. I always understood. From the first day, you talked about my hair, my clothes, my body." I stayed quiet. I tried to respect you, but today you crossed the line. You call me ugly. You call me fat. You talk about me like I am nothing. I am your family. I am the mother of this child. I am your brother's wife, and I deserve respect. The room became quiet. No one spoke. Then everything changed. Voices started at once. Someone said, "What is this?" Another voice shouted, "How can you say that here?" Someone said, "You are rude." His sister said, "Rude? You call me rude?" His mother stood up. She said in front of everyone, "You embarrassed us." I felt a sharp pain in my chest. I said, "No, you embarrassed me for months." I felt dizzy. I looked at Howard. His face was serious. He said, "Enough. She is my wife. She is telling the truth." His mother said quickly, "She is lying. She's trying to make us look bad." I said, "I am not lying." His sister said quickly, "If you understood everything, why didn't you say it before?" I said, "Because I hoped you would stop. I tried to respect you, but you did not respect me." I looked at my baby. Emma was sleeping, not knowing anything. I wanted that peace. I said, "I'm leaving." Howard looked at me and nodded. He said, "Yes, we are leaving." His mother stepped forward. She said, "If you leave now, don't come back." My heart hurt, but I did not stop. I said, "Okay." Howard lifted Emma. My son came close to me and held my hand. We walked to the door. No one stopped us. No one said goodbye. The door closed behind us. "I'm sorry," Howard said as we walked to the car. I looked at him. I said, For what? He said, For everything. I should have seen it sooner. I should have protected you. I said, You are here now. That matters. He nodded, but I could see the pain in his eyes. We got into the car. When we arrived home, I placed Emma in her bed. I sat down on the couch. My body felt weak. My mind felt empty. I said, I did it. I did not stay silent. Days passed after that night. No messages came, no calls, nothing. I kept checking my phone. I kept thinking someone would say something, but no one did. I stayed home with my children. I rested. I healed. I still felt sad sometimes, but I did not feel small anymore. One evening, I stood in front of the mirror. Howard came behind me and placed his hand on my shoulder. He said, You are strong. I said, No, I just stopped being silent. And in that moment, I understood something important. Sometimes staying quiet feels safe, but silence can break you slowly. Speaking, even when your voice shakes, can save you. It can set you free. Do not stay silent when people hurt you. Respect yourself. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.